And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at a game that was released last Gen Con, all the way back in August, and I played it there, but I didn't have a chance to get my own copy or to review it until just now. And that game is Rampage. Now, this is a dexterity game based on an old video game. I at least assume it's based on the video game, in which you ran around trying to destroy buildings, and either a giant lizard or a monkey or whatever the case was, you were destroying buildings, eating people, and scoring points. And that's going to be exactly the case in this game. You're going to be moving yourself around by flicking, you're going to be throwing buses, you're going to be blowing over buildings, and hopefully knocking over some of the other monsters in order to get points as best as possible, all while having some special abilities and secret scoring goals. So real quick, why don't we take a look at what you're going to get inside of this box. We're going to see how the game plays, and then we'll come back here at the end and I'll give you my opinions of Rampage. So here you can see the components for Rampage all set up. Now this is very much so a dexterity game, and what you're looking at here are different buildings that are made up of meeples supporting floors. Some of them are 4 floors high, I guess technically 1 base floor and 3 floors above that. And the smaller ones and the rectangular ones have 4 meeples supporting each floor, while this larger building, or the stadium in the center, has 8 meeples supporting its only higher raised up floor. You can also see that there are some cars that are around here, and then each player has a monster that looks like this, and it is standing on its own feet right here, which you'll be flicking around the board in order to try and position yourself to do maximal damage. Each player will also have a little screen here. This screen has 4 teeth on it, and you can see these teeth move around and can be removed. For each of these teeth you have at the end of your turn, you can eat 1 meeple that's in your area. On the reverse side, you're going to have what your available actions are. You get 2 actions per turn. They can be move, blow, destroy a building, or throw a vehicle. At the end of that, if you get hit, you're going to lose teeth. If you're going to eat some floors if they're empty. Anytime you hit somebody else and you knock them down, you're going to steal a tooth from them. And at the end of the round, you get to eat 1 meeple per tooth that you have. In addition to that, each player is going to have their own ability set. You're going to get 1 character card, 1 power card, and 1 super secret power card. And there's a lot of these. You'll look at the deck here. There's all of these super secret powers, and characters that you can mix up in order to make your different variety for the game. So let's take a look at some examples here. This one here is the character card. These are going to be how you score at the end of the game. This one here says that this player is going to score for each one of the vehicles that's on a completely ruined building. That means there's no floors left, and it's all the way down to the base. The base looks like that, and it's basically just rubble. If you can get the vehicles on those, you'll get 5 points each. Their power card is going to be a basic power that lasts the whole game. This player, whenever they flick their disc to move, they can flick twice. And then they have a super secret power. This is a one-time use ability. You can see this one here. It basically says they can choose a player and steal any 2 meeples from that player, putting them in their own stomach, which will be good for endgame scoring. Just another example real quick. Let's go ahead and look at a character. This one here scores 10 points at the end of the game if they've eaten the most green or soldier meeples. We also have the power, which is they have telekinesis. They can throw a vehicle even if it's not in the same area as them, so they can pick up any vehicle anywhere and throw it. Finally, they have, for their super secret power, is once per game they can flip this over and reveal it to take 2 actions, or eat 2 meeples, I should say, per tooth they have left instead of the usual 1 meeple per tooth they have left at the end of a turn. So all of this begs the question as to how do you do these actions and how do you devour meeples? So basically on your turn you get 2 actions. One could be moving. Basically when you move you're going to pick up your base monster and you're going to use just the base of it here to shoot around the board. You get 1 flick, or if you're that 1 character I showed you, 2 flicks. But essentially when you're moving around you're going to be trying to position yourself to best take other actions. Or if you really want, you can try and knock other players down with your movement. So let's say I moved like this and I ended up on the sidewalk of this building right here. This opens me up to another option. This is the destroy option, or basically the rampage, smash buildings option. What I'm going to do here is if I'm touching a sidewalk, I can go ahead and take my monster, I can drop it with an even arm above the table on the building that I am next to, trying to knock down some floors on here. Now I want to be careful because I don't want meeples to fly off the board. This is bad. I'll cover why in just a minute, but I'm going to want to try and knock them into the zone that I'm sitting in order to eat them later. So maybe I kind of try and drop it on this corner, knocking them down. And you'll see that it knocked a floor off, and essentially it knocked this meeple into the blue area and this gray meeple here into the area I'm in. And I'm going to put myself back onto my stand. Now those are my two actions for the turn. Now anytime you completely empty a floor, it's no longer being supported by anything, and it has no meeples or anything else on top of it, you're going to eat that floor, and it will be worth victory points for you. You'd put it in your stomach, which is just behind your player screen. So I'd place that over there. In addition, I may eat one meeple per tooth I have left. Right now that's 4, but throughout the game you could lose some. But right now there's a meeple right here, so I'm going to eat it, and I'm going to go ahead and put it behind my character screen. Now some of these scoring things are going to give you bonus points at the end of the game for having different colors of meeples. For example, yellow, or I showed you the green one earlier. In addition, you're going to score points at the end of the game for each set of different colored meeples you have. There are 6 different colors: yellow, red, blue, black, gray, and green. So each set of those you collect will be worth 10 points at the end of the game. Now, if I had knocked some meeples off, there's going to be 2 different ways that this can resolve, depending on whether you're using the A side of this sheet or the B side. If you're using the A side, you're going to fill them top to bottom. So you're going to put a meeple on each of these spaces until this row is filled, and then whichever player causes this to get filled is going to lose a tooth, and the player next is going to be able to move that player to any other region on the board. The next time, the player is going to lose a tooth and every other player is going to get an action. Then the next player will lose 2 teeth, and then we're back to the same repeating until we reach the end of the game, and the player who causes that to happen can't win. The other side of this sheet is going to have different colors that you can place on. Whoever first fills up this green meeple area is going to lose 2 teeth. And the same penalties basically, except for the blue one here causes you to lose one of your abilities, and the red one causes you to lose any 4 meeples of your choice that you've already eaten. This will not end the game, and matter of fact, when you fill one of these areas up with green meeples, they'll get pulled off and it opens it up again to happen to another player. Now, there are still 2 more actions that I haven't talked about, and that is blowing with all of your might to try and knock stuff over, and picking up and throwing a vehicle. When you have a vehicle in the same area as you, we'll just continue with this red player even though their turn should be done. You can pick that vehicle up, and you can put it on your head. At this point, you're going to try and flick it at something else, be it a building or another player, in order to try and knock it over. So maybe I wanted to try and hit this purple player over here. I could flick this, hopefully hitting them and knocking them down, which would take one of their teeth from them and give it to me. And of course, they will be able to pick less stuff up, and some characters are going to get extra stuff for taking teeth. So you get the idea. Pick it up, flick it, hopefully knock something over. The last possible action is called blowing, or, trying to blow something over. And basically, you want to position yourself so that you're going to be able to blow on something and knock it off of whatever it's on. So maybe my green player is here. When I do this, I'm going to have to put my chin on top of my own individual character. Then I'm going to be able to blow, basically taking one normal blow, blowing out, and hopefully knocking some stuff over. So I could go like this and try and knock this red meeple off. And I did, but it went way too far. Now it's over in the red character's area, and he may be able to eat it later. When you eat these things, it has to be from the region you're in. So right now, this player, if it were the end of his turn, could eat this green one and this green one. Actually, this green one's still safe because he's on the sidewalk, but he could eat this red meeple right here. And so he'd be able to devour those 2, putting them in his stomach. You're going to play on in this way until one of two things happens. Either you're going to play until you reach the end on the sheet, and that will automatically end the game. Otherwise, you're going to play until all of the floors are emptied and there's really nothing supporting any of the buildings. At that point, you're going to keep going until the active player finishes his turn, and then each other player is going to get one more turn in order to try and score some more points, either relocating to eat some meeples or trying to accomplish their goals, whatever the case may be. At the end of the game, you're going to get points, as I pretty much already told you. You're going to get 10 points for each group of those meeples that you have. You'll also get 1 point for each floor that you've eaten, and you're going to get 2 points for each tooth that you've taken from another monster. In addition to that, you're going to get points based on your character ability that you got at the start of the game, and whoever manages to get the most points by moving around, knocking over floors, beating up other monsters, eating meeples, and of course accomplishing their own personal goal will be the winner. Well, there you have it. That is Rampage from Repos Productions, a game for 2 to 4 players and a fun dexterity game. I really enjoy this one because of the theme and the mesh of the theme and the mechanisms that are in the game. The fact that you're kind of putting your face down on your monster, trying to blow stuff over, or you're throwing a bus and hopefully knocking something over and making a great play, adds some hilarity to the game that really kind of keeps it fun. This is one that I think people are going to bring out as a party game, kind of, or the end to a long gaming night, or if you're just looking for something fun to play and you don't really want to get deep into the strategy, this is one for you. The variety that's added by the cards, the different character scoring, the powers and the superpowers are really kind of nice to keep the game fresh. I think that having that there and having some options as to how you want to score, different ways to play in order to get points, is really kind of a good addition to the game. Overall, I think this one's really fun. I think it's one that people who love dexterity games are going to want to check out. I know it's not something that's usually my style of game, but this is one that I think will appeal even to the kind of heavier Euro gamers for something that's a little bit lighter, just to kind of take the edge off of the normal strategy kind of focus that, you know, drains your brain power. So check this one out, Rampage.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.